Okay, so this is the skull bones video. This is my list. I'm gonna lay this right here on my keyboard. And we're gonna start with the frontal bone, which is at the front of the skull. And then over here on the side is the temporal bone. And then you have the zygotic bone, which is right below the temporal bone, kind of like on the cheekbone. And then the ethmoid is kind of hard to see, but it's in the eye socket. And then the mental foramen is down here, kind of that little dot right there. And then the mandible is like the bottom part of the chin. And the maxilla is right here. And the infraorbital foramen is the that little dot right there. So it's a little bit above the maxilla. And then the sphenoid is kind of like in the eye socket also, so it's kind of hard to see, but it is in the eye socket. And you can kind of see it on the outside, so like it would be like right in here. And then the optical canal hole is also on the inside of the eye socket. And then the parietal is right here. And the lacrimal is like in between the eye socket and the nose bone. And then the glabella is like at the top, like in between the eyebrows right here. And then the superior orbital fissure is also in the eye socket. It's above the inferior orbital fissure, which is also over here. And then the supraorbital foramen is above like the eyebrow. And then the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid is like inside the nose. Sorry if I keep getting out of the screen. And then the anterior nasal spine is right here. Okay, so now we're going to do the coronal suture, which is this line right across the crown of the head. And then the squamous suture is, if you can see it, it's like right here on the side, that little line right there. And then the lambdoid suture is going to be in the back. It kind of makes like an upside down Y and kind of goes right here. And then the sagittal suture is the top part of the head, which is right there. And then the parietal bone is the back side right here. The occipital bone is on the back side. And then the temporal bone is toward the cheek. So it's kind of like below the parietal bone. And then the external acoustic meatus is the ear right here. And the mastoid process is right below that. So it's kind of like this pointy part right here. And then the styloid process is this kind of weird long shape. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like right there. And then the mandibular condyle is right here. And the mandibular notch is right there. And the mandibular ramus is right in here. The cornoid process is right here. And the zygomatic bone is kind of like on the cheek. And then the nasal bone is right here. Okay, so the maxilla is on the roof of the mouth, which is kind of hard to see because I can't get the skull off of the body, so it is right in here. The palatine bone is a little bit above that, or behind that. And then the vomer is way behind that, like almost where that screw is in the skull. You still can't see it. And then the stylomastoid foramen is on, if you were to look on the inside, it's almost where the ear duct is on the inside. So it's like right in here, but it's on the inside and you can't see it because the jaw won't come off the skull. The foramen magnum is where the spinal cord goes, so it's like right here. And the jugular foramen is right here. And then the carotid canal is right above that, right there. And then the foramen lacerum is even further toward the jaw, which it's very hard to get this to go. So like right in here. And then the foramen ovale is even further toward the jaw, almost that way.